Good afternoon, everyone. Can't hear you. Good afternoon, everyone. Chairman of the session, Dr. Gupta ji, my fellow panelists, fellow professionals, CMAs, ladies and gentlemen. I have a time of 11 minutes. So before I start, today we are celebrating 62nd NCMAC. In last 6 decades, lot of efforts have gone by a lot of people at this central level, at the regional council level, and at the chapters level. So I think it's a time to give them a huge round of applause for all the leadership which have taken us to this place. Now, I have a time of 11 minutes. So in these 11 minutes, what I intend to do is, number one, give you 3 mantras as to how the Indian accounting standards, Ind AS, can be used by every one of us in a very simple and easy manner. And number two, I would also like to connect the dots, because all of us have this, we keep on hearing sustainable development goals, then ESG, then national guidelines on responsible business conduct, and then BRSR, and then the purpose of a business. Now, how all these are connected? And let me tell you, they are connected in a very, very systematic manner, and which is also very easy to comprehend. So let me start to understand this entire thing. Let us begin with the first mantra. And what the first mantra is? The first mantra is to know what is purpose of a business. So today, if the whole world is talking about good corporate governance, ESG, BRSR, and all that, as to why are they talking about? And for that, we need to understand as to what is the purpose of a business. Now, if I ask you this question, I'm sure most of us would say that the purpose of a business is to make profit. And by the way, please listen to me very attentively. And why very attentively? Because this undo command, this undo command that we have, this undo command is only in computer. Life में कोई undo command नहीं है. क्या मतलब है कहने का? कहने का मतलब ये है कि अगर कोई अपॉर्चुनिटी मिस हो गई, तो फिर आप भगवान के सामने जाके कितनी भी प्रार्थना करिए, वो अपॉर्चुनिटी वापस आने वाली नहीं है. Just to give you a small anecdote, there was a small boy, एक छोटा सा बच्चा था, और वो भगवान की तस्वीर के सामने खड़ो के प्रार्थना कर रहा है, हे भगवान, दुबई को हिंदुस्तान की राजधानी बना दो, हे भगवान, दुबई को हिंदुस्तान की राजधानी बना दो, हे भगवान, दुबई को हिंदुस्तान की राजधानी बना दो. तो जब उस बच्चे के शब्द मेरे कानों में पड़े तो मुझसे रहा नहीं गया, और मैं उसके पास गया. मैंने कहा, बोले बेटा क्या बोल रहे हो? दुबई को हिंदुस्तान की राजधानी बना दो. अगर दुबई हिंदुस्तान की राजधानी बन भी गई तो तुमको क्या मिलेगा? तो अंकल, बेटा बोलता है, अंकल ज़रूर मिलेगा. मैंने कहा, क्या मिलेगा? बोलता है, अंकल बात क्या है कि कल मेरा एग्ज़ाम था, एग्ज़ाम में एक क्वेश्चन था कि हिंदुस्तान की राजधानी क्या है, और मैं दुबई लिख के आया हूँ. तो रिमेंबर, फिर बाद में कितनी भी प्रार्थना करो, दुबई हिंदुस्तान की राजधानी बनने वाली नहीं है. हालांकि बन जाए तो अच्छा है, घड़ी घड़ी वीज़ा निकालने का चक्कर ख़त्म होगा, और वैसे भी मोदी जी हैं तो कुछ भी हो सकता है. So the first thing that we need to understand this entire framework as to what is the purpose of a business. Now, typically, if we ask this question to anyone, he would say that the purpose of a business is to make profit. And let me tell you, if someone is saying that the purpose of a business is to make profit, he is completely wrong. He is completely wrong. And why do I say this? I say this because if the purpose of a business was to make profit, we will not hear of a company called Google. Why? Larry Page, Sergey Brin, the founders of Google started making profit within first few years of their operations. And they would have said, purpose of a business is to make profit, we have made profit, purpose is achieved, let us close the business. If the purpose of a business was to make profit, we would not hear of a group called Tatas. Why? Jamshedji Tata, the founder of Tata Group, made huge profit from his exports business and from his textile business. he would have said the same thing, that the purpose of a business is to make profit. I have earned enough profit. My purpose is achieved. Let us close the business. So therefore, please remember, why do I say that the purpose of a business is not to make profit? And that is because making profit in a business is non-negotiable. Making profit in a business is not a matter of choice. Making profit in a business is mandatory. Making profit in a business is compulsory. Meaning what? Meaning, if you are in a business, you better make profit. If you are in a business, you better make profit. And if you are in business and you can't make profit, the least that you can do is to hand that business over to someone. And today, remember, we have a law in this country, we all know, and that is Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. So what this IBC is, it is nothing but in case of a business is not earning profit, that business has to give unto somebody else. So then what is the purpose of a business? And the purpose of a business is to create value. And if I can simplify it, I would say purpose of a business is to create value by making profit, or purpose of a business is to make profit by creating value. Now a question must be coming in the minds of every one of you. What is the meaning of value creation? What is the meaning of value creation? And let me tell you, friends, the simplest definition that anyone can give as to what is value creation is nothing but to make this world a better place to live today than what it was yesterday. And that is what value creation is all about. Now, this same thought went to the UN, and UN ने सोचा कि वाकई में पूरी दुनिया को बेहतर जगह बनाने की ज़रूरत है, बेहतर जो कि कल से भी ज़्यादा अच्छी है. So what they thought? They thought of 17 items. And those 17 items are known as Sustainable Development Goals. And by the way, if you want to know what these 17 Sustainable Development Goals are, you do not have to go anywhere. Just pick up a pen and paper and start writing down कि अगर ये दुनिया को बेहतर बनाना है तो क्या-क्या चीज़ों की ज़रूरत है. And if you keep on writing down, and you will come to 17, 18, 20 items. And if you would compare this list of yours with these 17 Sustainable Development Goals, you would be surprised as to what your list contains is the same thing what these 17 Sustainable Development Goals are. Now, these 17 Sustainable Development Goals are then broken into 169 sub-goals. Now, what is ESG? ESG is nothing but summarization of these 169 sub-goals which form part of 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And why do you summarize? You summarize because ultimately the objective is not just to list them, the objective is to communicate them. So then you have ESG. Under ESG, all these items come, and that is why it is possible for the corporates to implement them. Now, it is not only a question of communication. What is also important is implementation. So for the purpose of implementation, how do you implement? For the purpose of implementation, the government of India came out with something which is known as National Guidelines on Responsible Business Conduct. So what these 9 principles of national guidelines on responsible business conduct. So if you look at that, there are 9 items. Under all these 9 items, you would see all these 169 sub-goals of the SDG are mapped with these 9 principles of responsible business conduct. And now these 9 principles of responsible business conduct are again mapped into the BRSR report. So if you would look at the BRSR report, what the BRSR report is, BRSR report comprises of 9 different headings, and all these 9 different headings are linked with the 9 principles of responsible business conduct. So this is the entire linkage. Now the question is, so this is the linkage. So what you have, purpose of a business, which is value creation, which is then 17 sustainable development goals, 17 sustainable development goals broken into 169 sub goals, and summarizing them is the ESG. ESG को implement करने के लिए there are 9 principles of responsible business conduct, and these 9 principles of responsible business conduct are then mapped into BRSR. Now the question is, why India's? Now it was okay until the time there was no globalization. So the accounting standards that we had in this country, 27 of them, which we referred as Indian GAAP, was good enough for the Indian purposes. Now that the world started globalizing, obviously the need was felt that the accounting standards need to evolve in a way so that they serve the global purpose. Because today what we have got cross-border transactions, cross-border investment and everything. So somebody making investment in China, Europe, Russia, Asia and everywhere. How do you really find out as to the company where you have invested your money, how that company is doing, unless you understand the accounting methodology of that country? And that is how the global financial language emerged, and that is your IFRS. So IFRS is started, and what we have in our country, we call it as Ind AS. And what is Ind AS? Ind AS is nothing but adapted, not adopted, adapted version of the IFRS that we have. So Indian GAAP, 27 accounting standards. Ind AS, there are 39 accounting standards all put together. What is the difference between the two? Now I can tell you the difference between the two is, one is of the number, and second is of the size, and third is of the focus. So the number, Indian GAAP 27, Ind AS 39. Size, Indian GAPs are relatively smaller in size, in content. Ind ASs are much more vast and voluminous. And the focus in the Ind AS, in the Indian accounting standards, is on the historical accounting. And in case of the Ind AS, the focus is on fair value accounting. So the question that may come to mind of every one of you is to why fair value why fair value accounting? And the reason behind, of course, is very simple, because if the financial statements have to reflect, the true and fair position, then obviously the accounting has to be done on the fair value basis. Because if I'm doing the balance sheet today, then my balance sheet has to reflect the value of the liabilities and the assets as they stand today and not in the past. And that is why the fair value accounting. So that is the second difference. Why I am discussing this with you, because if you and I have to understand Ind AS, remember, it's not very difficult. What you and I need to remember is that Ind AS the focus is on fair value. So whether it is Ind AS 16 on property, plant and equipment, or Ind AS 36, which is on the impairment of the assets, or Ind AS 107, which is on financial instruments, or Ind AS 132, which is on presentation, or Ind AS 109, which is on disclosures. All these, or Ind AS 102, which is on share-based payments, or Ind AS 103, which is on business combinations. So all these accounting standards, you would see, they use the fair value. And that is all what we need to remember. So the second mantra is, remember, the Indian accounting standards is fair value based accounting. And that means every transaction that we record in our books got to be linked with the fair value and not the historical value. So this is the second mantra. And the third mantra is just keep on working them. So it is quite possible when we start looking at the Ind ASs, start reading them, they are complex in drafting. But if you keep on reading them, I'm sure it will be very easy for every one of us. And finally, friends, why Ind AS? Because ultimately it is proved all over the globe that the valuations of the company are linked with not only the performance, not only the financial parameters, but also the non-financial parameters. And one of the very significant non-financial parameter with which the valuations of a business are linked, and that is your reporting, and that is your transparent reporting, timely reporting, relevant reporting. So if you follow the Ind AS and the proper accounting, then the valuations of the business also go up. So with these three mantras, I would put a pause. Thank you so much for giving me time to the institute. Thank you so much. Thank you.